Welcome to this week's episode of Does That Make Sense? Today I'm chatting to Amanda, my co-host, about astrology and dating. There are 12...
Maybe I should take over at this point. There's actually 12 signs, Antoinette.
sun signs.
That's right.
Yes, your normal sun. I'm a Scorpio and you're a...
So your star sign, a Cancerian, so it's like, yes. So your star sign, which is also your sun sign.
And we're going to talk about dating.
We are.
And what signs to date and what signs to back off from, depending on your sun sign.
I don't know if there's really any sign that you should back off from.
Run away from.
But maybe you have bad experiences with certain signs.
Run for the hills. Run for the hills.
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to start off. And how does it form? So it starts off with Aries and it goes...
Aries is the start of the horoscope.
Okay, let's start with Aries, the fire sign. Is that right?
It's a fire sign. That's very good, Antoinette. You've learned something from me.
So talk to us about Aries.
Oh, Aries. Typically, so really when you really to figure out sort of the dating and what you should be dating and what works for you and why you might be attracting certain things, you probably really need to get your whole astrology chart done. It's more tailored, it's more personal. Mm-hmm. But we can do some generalizations about different signs, that's for sure. So Aries, well, they tend to love a challenge. They're probably active.
Hot-headed?
They could be hot-headed, yes. Independent. Yep. So for example, if you want someone that's really independent, then that's really a great sign.
Yeah.
They'll just golf and do their thing.
Yeah.
They...
Spontaneous?
They're spontaneous, yeah. They're definitely spontaneous. So I think spontaneity is really good. They like a little bit of challenge.
Okay.
But that could be like, even just doing something sort of outside, a little bit of, I don't know, wouldn't necessarily say rock climbing, but they might, like a little bit of risk and challenge in there. So I think they might be on that sort of negative side, maybe one to golf and do because they are independent, go off and do their own thing a little bit. So they mightn't consult you and just go off and do something.
So who would they be best dating?
Well, that's the interesting thing about astrology. It's like traditionally, you sort of like, well, fire signs all get on, fire and earth signs.
I was going to say water.
You wouldn't say, but... Well, I do see
because
really
all
good...
I can see is water putting out fire.
Well, that's it. Or you could have fire and, water making steam or fire. So something along those lines, yeah.
Okay.
So that's what they say. So I've seen some really good matches of like when there's, and we shouldn't sort of generalise and sort of leave this open, but I've seen some Aries and Cancers that have been really good matches, and that wouldn't be something you traditionally say. Cancers are water signs, but they're also cardinal signs. So that's the thing. In each sign, there's like a cardinal sign, there's a mutable sign, and there's a fixed sign. Okay. That's just going way over your head, I know.
It certainly is. Okay. So Aries, so if you were looking at and you're dating in Aries, these are the signs to look out for.
Yeah, they might get bored easily. They might want a bit of a challenge. They might want a bit of independence. And they might like it if you're active and spontaneous and willing to do things, And I think if they're interested in you,
they're judgmental.
I don't really see them as judgmental. No. Okay. They're probably not the judgy sort of signs. They're not known for that. They're probably...
Are they self-righteous?
They're just
any Aries out there.
Yeah, we're just going to get hate mail, I think, from all the Aries. I'd say more so they're quite, like I said, independent. So they might just be, I'm not going to say the word selfish, but I'm just going to say they might just be a little bit independent and run off and go and do something without consulting you. Yes, doing their own thing.
And that's okay.
And that's okay. And so if you're looking for someone independent, then that's maybe a really great fit.
Okay. And we've got Taurus.
I just always think with Taurus is ruled by Venus. So I feel like that they like to smell. So smelling nice might be really great.
I'm not sure how I'd feel about it if someone came up and started sniffing at me.
Funny enough, I met a Taurus person at something and they go, you just smell so great. And they wanted to sit next to me because I was... And they tend to like smell their food or smell things. Like smell is... Yeah, you do see that with Taurians. If they might smell their food or something or
So they use their senses.
They're really like touch, taste, smell kind of people. So
senses.
Yeah, so I'm
Very
thinking
sensory.
if you've, and they might like cooking a nice meal that smells nice. That might be really luring them in. They like stability, so they might take a while to make a decision because they can be quite slow acting. But once they do make that decision, they're quite loyal and they're in for the long haul.
Okay.
That's a generalisation, but I'd say, Tauruses are known for like.
And who would they be best?
Well, traditionally you'd sort of say earth signs, but once again you can sort of see other matchups that work.
Is Taurus a fire?
It's an earth sign.
Oh, so who are they best with?
So earth signs, if you look up any astrology book, it'll say other earth signs, and it will say water signs as well. So maybe Cancer and Taurus again.
Okay.
Might work really well, but could be a little on the dull side. Maybe they want someone that spices things up for them, so they might want a fire sign.
Okay.
They like stability, so if it's, a Sag who's a bit sort of freedom orientated, that may not work.
Oh, okay. And so they like retail therapy. I'm looking at notes here.
Oh, yes. I always think that classic sort of, Taurus thing is like, their, comfort food, retail therapy. That's big Taurus sort of.
Are they the ones that like sitting on a couch and
yes,
watching
eating
a
ice
movie
cream
and eating ice cream by the bucket?
I often find yes, they can be those. Like I find they can come in two different forms. You can find the ones that are really into their body, so they're really sort of into exercising and sort of working out, and then you can find the ones that maybe like to sit on the couch and
Sloths.
Yes.
Okay.
They could be. No offence.
No offence.
They might be beautiful looking though.
Oh, really?
Regardless. Yeah.
Okay.
Real by
Bit of
Venus.
eye candy.
Yeah.
Eating a bucket of ice cream on the couch.
Yeah.
And Gemini.
Well, they really like communication, so they're ruled by Mercury, so they like a lot of, fun banter, and they tend to go for someone maybe with like that intelligent type, a lot of banter, a lot of wit. They may be witty. They might have a lot of friends, and like they tend to sort of dart around like, a lot of the different friends. Yeah.
Do they have a lot of friends, or a lot of friends, or a few close friends?
Well, once again, you've got to sort of do your chart to sort of narrow that in and figure that out. But generally speaking, I would say they've got quite a few different types of friends. Okay. And Gemini's got that two sides, so there'll be that two sides to them as well.
Okay. They're fun.
They're fun. They probably like freedom, a bit of freedom. So it's an air sign. So air signs always like to have a bit of space and a bit of freedom. So keep that in mind.
And what about with commitment? Are they the ones? Do they like commitment, or
I think
they?
I think any sign can be committed. It's just not in that sense that you're thinking. But look, I think anyone's got the potential for commitment, but they're probably like a lot of sort of banter. I think they tend to go for someone maybe a little quirky, fun, intelligent. So it's not necessarily about the looks. It's like that might be attractive to them, like that quirky sort of look or something. Yeah,
I know a few Geminis, and that really makes sense.
Oh, there you go.
And actually, before I get into that, who would Gemini be not good for?
Well, look, I think
who would be their
other air signs obviously are a natural sort of good fit, but once again, sometimes it's good to have, if you're a bit flighty, it might be good to have something that earths you. So
that makes sense.
And so
okay, that makes sense. Cancers. Now, Cancer's a water sign. I love Cancer.
Yes, because you're a Scorpio.
Yeah, I love.
We can put up with you. We can deal with you.
I love the Cancerians. They're just gentle, beautiful energies, beautiful souls.
Thank you. I'm going to take and receive all that.
They're just calm.
Oh, they're not actually always that calm, and it can depend on like what else is mixed in there.
To push them.
Yeah. Look, I think things that Cancerians, they like security, so they want to know that they feel secure in the relationship. So I think that'd be quite important. So maybe not a Gemini if they're a bit more flighty. Maybe not A Sagittarius if they need a lot of freedom. So the ones that probably want that freedom, it's probably not as easy a fit for them.
Yep.
So security is quite important to them. So you can see that Cancer and Taurus could be a really good match because one's, looking for stability, one's looking for security. So that sort of fits, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And
they're quite deep, intense
they're
people.
deep. They're quite deep, emotionally, deep as well. So they like that connection. They like to nurture, but they also like to be nurtured. So yeah. So that's
my brother's a Cancerian, and that is him to a T. He's a deep thinker.
Yeah.
Soul, looks for the soul connection or the meaning of life.
I think so.
And is very, very much that.
I think connection is really big to them. I mean, I'm a Cancerian. I'd say that's the one thing I really look for in relationships. I think Scorpios look for that too, but connection's really big. Yeah. So connection more so. So whereas you might have a Gemini is more looking for maybe an intellectual connection.
Yep,
mental connection.
Yep.
So the Cancers might be looking for more that emotional connection.
Which makes a lot of sense.
And they don't like being criticised, so...
I see that. They can be a bit shy.
Yeah, well,
You're not shy, Amanda.
No, they're not. But also, if you criticise them, they may not say, I was really hurt by that criticism, but it might take them a while to prod them back out of their shell again, for them to come back out again after, and you may not even know you've criticised or...
Yeah.
Yeah, so they don't tend to like criticism so much. But...
and
connection's really that emotional connection's probably really important to them.
And Leo,
I always think you've just got to really give them that attention. I think they need that sort of patting of that Leo, that lion sort of mane, give that ego a little bit of a boost. Really? Listening to them, attention, believing in them. They might have
needy. Is that the
they
right
could be
word?
They could be a little in the needy of attention, I'd say, more so than anything. And it's I think that classic Leo as a child, if it's not, when a child is really young, how you need to clap them that they've done so well. Praise and clap them, and they really need that. So you can see, sometimes Leos that didn't get that as a young person, they might be really trying to get that sort of attention and that sort of praise later on in other areas. But yeah, I think, they might have big dreams and you need to sort of support them, show that you support them, acknowledge them, give them that attention.
Okay. And they like power and authority.
They can often like power and authority.
Is that in their partner? So they'd like...
No, more so they might have a powerful job or be seeking a powerful job or seeking something where they're getting back that recognition as well.
Okay. Feel like they're making a difference?
Yeah, probably not so much making a difference in that sense, but, probably making an impact in some way for sure.
Okay.
And getting acknowledgement. So getting that reward, getting that recognition. Mm-hmm. I would say they're big things for them.
Virgos, don't we?
That's
Virgos.
yes. I'm a serial Virgo dater, so I feel like I know them.
Virgos.
They start out really well, is what I'll say. They often, so they're ruled by Mercury as well. I think they tend to like someone with intelligence and they love that sort of communication, once again, just like the Geminis do.
Yes.
So you can see Gemini and Virgo both like that sort of, that mental connection and that sort of banter, and they can be quite witty and
funny.
Yeah. And they're probably quite orderly and have a certain way. I won't say OCD, but, they probably have a certain way about the way they do things. I think you can often tell a Virgo by the way they work. They may even turn their work into a uniform. They love to serve, so, they may be attracted to jobs where they're serving, and they probably like to do things for you or have you do things for them as well.
Okay. Yes, I think Virgos are our lot in life. That's all I can say.
They might start out doing those things they might do all those little special things for you. You think, oh, wow, that's so amazing. They remembered that, or they noticed that, or they fixed this, or they, your perfectly wrapped present. I don't know. They take that little extra time. Yeah. So, and I'd say,
does it take a long while for them to actually open up and bring down the walls and show their inner true?
They're not someone that lets the emotion out freely, so they don't like a lot of drama and they don't like to let the emotion sort of show. They can almost have a real poker face often, a lot of Virgos, so you're not seeing them emotional, or they may not
can't
be
be
able to
healthy.
relate to emotions. Yeah, well, I mean, when the water does go outside the cup, it can be big.
I can
So they're probably
imagine.
like organised, tidiness, that sort of thing. But look, I'm not organised and tidy, and I seem to attract Virgos. So
Because that's so they can do it for you.
that's right.
Yeah, there you go.
That's the thing.
And
It works.
do Virgos and Cancer work?
Well, look, they're both the one water and an earth sign, so it should do. Where they don't work is like, don't forget, Cancerians don't like being criticised, and Virgos are perfectionists. So that's the big
Okay.
thing we need to say about them. So they're really hard on their partners. They may be very critical only because they want you to improve, but they're very hard on themselves as well. So the
Okay.
benchmark they set. So you may not be perfect enough for a Virgo. That's the
Okay.
thing, but they're always seeking out perfection.
And when they rule people out and they ghost people or shut people out,
We're talking about personal experience here, or?
are they just not emotional? Are they just shut the door?
They
You're
can
gone, you're
detach.
dead?
I do find a lot of Virgos that are really good at detaching and sort of locking away. Okay, well, let's just get on with this, and they just get on with things. So they may not. It's not that they're not feeling anything, but they may.
No, they're dead.
They can probably compartmentalize it a little bit better. So
Okay, moving along, and we've got Libra.
yes, Libra. So I think Libra once again is ruled by Venus. So I
What's
think
a Libra?
so. It's an air sign. So it's the scales. It's the balance.
okay.
Yeah. I think that classic Libra thing is like, they can never make a decision. So you'll make a decision about where you go eat, and then you're there, and it's like, oh, but I really didn't want Italian food. I really wanted to do such and such. So they won't tell you. They won't come up. They won't make a decision. But then when you make a decision,
They're indecisive.
they wanted something else. Yeah. I think a lot of Libras also really like relationships, but they're an air sign once again. So they like you there, but you're in another room.
Okay.
So they might be in another room of the
They
house.
just want to know that you're
You're
present.
there somewhere, but they may not be interacting with you. I see that a lot with Libras as well. And, look, they may really like beauty and beauty products. So even males, they might be
Grooming.
those males that are really well groomed, that have lots of beauty products and are doing a whole regime of different things. And yeah, they
And they like harmony and balance.
they definitely
just
like harmony, and the scales balance. So they like a lot of harmony and balance. And
Okay, well that makes sense.
Yeah,
Considering their sign.
they might like fine dining. They less is more. So the nice quality food as opposed to like a lot of food. And also, you might be really into clothes or designer clothes almost. You're thinking,
Yeah. Scorpio.
Oh, well, there we
Me.
go. It's funny because I was speaking to a Scorpio the other day, and they said that when they were on a dating site, and whenever they told people they're a Scorpio, they never hear from the person again.
That's not fair. I'm
It's not
Scorpio.
fair. I really
We're
feel
really
like they're misunderstood. They really are.
Yeah.
They're actually quite loyal people, and they're
Yeah.
really, if there's a crisis, you want a Scorpio around.
Yes.
They're the friend, or they're the ex even that you would probably come and help you or do something or
First
be there
person
for
that will
you.
drop everything.
Yeah, and
to support.
they're really great in a crisis. So they're really that, got that great sort of, come to action when there's sort of a crisis person.
Yeah.
Once again, that's why they get on with Cancer so well. They like that really deep connection. So,
Yes.
and they're quite controlled. So the interesting thing is the sign for Virgo and Scorpio is almost the same. It's like the M, but the tail on the Scorpio's got like that arrow at the end, whereas the sort of Virgo sign, it turns into sort of loops back over. So they're both controlled. See, Virgos are very controlled. Like they'd like to keep things controlled, no drama, no emotion. Scorpios are quite controlled in that same way. But don't be mistaken, there's a lot of emotion going on, even if it looks like it's calm water on the surface, it's not. It's probably quite deep.
That's really accurate, and that's me to an absolute T.
Yeah.
I am highly emotive, and I will keep scratching the surface until I keep scratch until I actually can find the deeper meaning of something.
Yes.
And I really need to connect with something.
Yeah.
But there is the other element of me of where once somebody has betrayed me or hurt me intensely, and it takes a lot,
Yeah.
I'm gone.
It's the classic Scorpio thing. It's almost like they attract betrayal in some way or shape or form. because it's...
Because you're so loyal.
They're not always loyal. They can be loyal as in they're there for you, but they're not always necessarily loyal.
Well, I am.
You are. Yeah, but they're definitely... I think they're definitely misunderstood. They're definitely got... There's a lot of emotion and a lot going on there, but they just may not show it. So, yeah, they do really like that deep connection. They do really like ponder the deeper things, I think.
So this is is this 6 signs that we've just done?
We've actually done more than 6.
Oh, have we?
Yeah. We've done 8 so far.
So I think that, we'll come back because there's a lot that I want to ask you, Amanda, about obviously the other signs and also about who should avoid who, or not literally, but what signs generally are known to clash and which signs are known to be amazing. And we're being, I suppose, not to be gender specific, so we've got females and males. So,
and we've got everyone in between.
And oh yes, we do too in this day and age. So we'll come back. We'll make up a wrap of this episode, and we'll come back with part 2 of the astrology on dating and star signs.
Sounds good.
Stay tuned.